How we've been deceived by our own brains. So, I just found out my brain has been straight up lying to me for years. Like, actual deception, not just little memory lapses. There's this story I've told a million times at parties about how, when I was 6, my grandpa took me to a baseball game, and I caught a foul ball. I can vividly remember the weight of it in my tiny hands, the crowd cheering, the way my grandpa laughed. Wanna guess what I just found out? It never happened. I was going through old photo albums with my mom, and I mentioned it. She gives me the weirdest look and goes, "Honey, you never caught a foul ball. You cried because one almost hit you." What? I argued with her for a solid 10 minutes. I could see it in my head, feel it. But then she pulled out a picture of 6-year-old me red-faced, clutching my grandpa's arm in terror. No ball. No victory. Just me, a terrified little idiot. Apparently, my grandpa used to tell the story of the near miss as a joke, and somewhere along the line, my brain just flipped it? Like, instead of being embarrassed, my brain edited the memory to make me the hero. And that's when I realized, our brains are not reliable. They're not just filing cabinets where memories sit, untouched. They're shady little storytellers, rewriting the past to fit the narrative we want. Ever had a moment like this? Where your brain gaslit you into believing a totally fake memory? Oh, buddy. Your brain isn't just a liar, it's a pathological manipulator. There's a whole psychological phenomenon called confabulation, where your brain straight up fills in missing details with fiction, and you just accept it. I had something similar happen when I swore I'd been to Disney World as a kid. Could describe the castle, the rides, even the damn smells. Guess what? My family never took me. What I was actually remembering. A combination of TV commercials and a dream I had when I was 5. We don't actually remember things like a camera. Every time you recall a memory, your brain edits it slightly. And after enough times, the truth is gone. You only remember the last version your brain saved. It's like a corrupt Word document at this point. So yeah, your brain gaslit you. And it's probably doing it right now about something else. Sleep well. Dude. What if your grandpa actually told you caught the ball to mess with you, and then your brain just ran with it? Grandpa playing 4D chess. Alright, so after my last post about my lying brain, I went into full paranoia mode. If my memory of catching that foul ball was fake, what else was a lie? Spoiler alert, a lot. I started digging through old childhood photos, asking my family about specific memories, and guess what? My brain has apparently been running a bootleg version of my life. Example number 1, I swore we had a goldfish named Bubbles. I even remember crying when it died, flushing it down the toilet while my mom comforted me. Nope. Never existed. My mom looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Honey, we've never owned a fish." Example number 2, I always thought my childhood best friend moved to Texas. Wrong again. I reached out to her on Facebook, and she was like, "Dude, I never moved. We just stopped hanging out." Example number 3, I was convinced my dad drove a red pickup truck when I was little. It was blue. Blue. For those who don't know, the Mandela effect is when a bunch of people collectively misremember the same thing, like how a ton of people swear they remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison, he didn't, or how people swear the Monopoly man had a monocle, he never did. So now I have to wonder, is my brain just screwing me over, or am I part of some low-budget multiverse slip-up? Have any of you realized a memory you knew was real was actually just a figment of your lying-ass brain? Please tell me I'm not the only one experiencing a full-on existential crisis over this. Bro. It gets worse. You ever hear of memory implantation? It's not just your own brain messing with you. Other people can accidentally, or intentionally plant false memories in your head. There was this study where scientists convinced people they'd been lost in a mall as a kid, even though it never happened. All they did was have family members casually suggest it, and boom, suddenly these people could describe what the mall looked like, how scared they felt, even what they were wearing. So maybe your mom joked about a goldfish once, and your brain just ran with it. Or maybe someone else misremembered the red truck first, and your brain jumped on board. We trust our memories like they're reliable, but honestly, they're as stable as a Jenga tower in an earthquake. I'm just saying, if your life ever depended on a memory, you might be screwed. R.I.P. to Bubbles, the goldfish who never existed but still lives rent-free in your head. Okay, so now I'm full-on paranoid about my brain lying to me. But here's where things get really messed up. Turns out, I'm not just fabricating childhood memories, I've been gaslighting myself in real time. Case in point, my missing hoodie. A couple of weeks ago, I came home late from work, threw my hoodie over a chair, and crashed. The next morning, it was gone. I checked everywhere. Chair? Nope. Closet? Nope. Laundry hamper? Nada. I was so sure I left it on that chair that I started thinking maybe my roommate took it. So naturally, I asked him, "Hey dude, did you take my hoodie?" He looked me dead in the eyes and went, "You weren't even wearing a hoodie last night." Cue existential panic. I knew I had it. I remembered the weight of it on my shoulders, the feeling of tossing it onto the chair, even the way it landed slightly crumpled. But after checking our apartment top to bottom, there was no hoodie. It was like it never existed. I started questioning everything. Did I actually wear it that day? Was it really on the chair? Or had my brain just inserted that detail because it made sense? 2 days later, my hoodie showed up. You wanna know where? In my damn backpack. Folded neatly. Like I had put it there on purpose. At this point, I feel like my brain is just straight up gaslighting me. Not only does it rewrite my childhood, but now it's actively screwing with my short-term memory. And if it can do this, what else is it messing with? Have I forgotten arguments? Misremembered entire conversations? Are there things I think I've done but never actually happened? What if I apologize to someone for something I never even did? Or worse, what if I'm holding a grudge over something that never actually happened? Has anyone else had their brain just straight up lie to them in real time? Oh man. Welcome to the horror show that is false memories in real time. I had this happen when I was convinced I texted my boss back about switching shifts. I remembered typing it. I remembered hitting send. But when he called me, furious that I never replied, the text wasn't there. Checked my messages, my drafts, nothing. My brain had completely fabricated the act of sending the text. Turns out, we don't just misremember the past, we misremember the present as it's happening. Our brains run on shortcuts and assumptions. You expected your hoodie to be on the chair, so your brain just filled in that detail for you. So yeah, you're not crazy. But also, you can never fully trust yourself. Enjoy that thought. Plot twist, your roommate took the hoodie, saw your panic, and snuck it back into your backpack to make you question reality. Alright, buckle up, because my brain just leveled up its deception game. So, I have this friend, let's call her Sarah. A few months ago, we had a dumb argument over something trivial. I think it was about me flaking on a movie night. I distinctly remember apologizing. I even remember the words. "Hey, I totally get why you were upset. I should have told you earlier that I couldn't make it. My bad." Super clear, right? Well, imagine my surprise when Sarah brings up that same argument last week and casually drops, "Yeah, you never even apologized for that." Excuse me, what? I did apologize. I remember doing it. I even remember where we were, at a coffee shop, sitting by the window, her stirring her latte aggressively. So I go, "Wait, yeah I did. We were at that coffee shop, remember?" And Sarah just stares at me. Dude, we haven't been to that coffee shop in like a year. Cue another existential crisis. I checked our texts. No apology. I even scrolled back through my messages to see if I thought about texting it, but never did. Nope. Nothing. My brain just made it up. It straight up let me believe I had done something I never actually did. Now I'm wondering, how many people in my life are quietly fuming at me over stuff I think I've made right but never actually addressed? Or worse, what if there are things I think people have never apologized for, but they actually did, and my brain just forgot? At this point, I'm questioning every single past argument I've ever had. So tell me, has your brain ever gaslit you into thinking you said or did something, only for reality to punch you in the face? Oh buddy. You've stumbled into the terrifying world of false memory insertion. It happens when your brain thinks about doing something so vividly that it files the memory as if it actually happened. Like, if you spend enough time mentally rehearsing a conversation, your brain can't tell the difference between thinking about saying something and actually saying it. I used to be certain I told my mom happy birthday one year. I remembered the exact conversation. Where we were. What she was wearing. Turns out, never happened. The only reason I found out was because she was super distant for weeks, and I finally asked why. She thought I just forgot her birthday. Your brain is basically a lazy intern who sometimes forgets to file things correctly, so it just tosses them into random folders and hopes for the best. You can't trust yourself, man. It's terrifying. At this point, we all need a receipts folder for real-life interactions. Here's my official proof that I apologized, time-stamped and signed. At this point, I should just accept that my brain is a pathological liar. But no, it just keeps proving new and exciting ways it can betray me. So last night, I came home, threw my keys on the counter, and went to bed. I remember doing this. It's not even a vague memory. I can picture the sound of them hitting the surface, the feeling of tossing them, even the exact spot they landed next to a pile of mail. Fast forward to this morning. I'm rushing out the door, reach for my keys, and they're gone. Not on the counter. Not on the floor. Nowhere. Cue 30 minutes of absolute chaos. I tore the place apart. Checked the couch, my bag, even the fridge, because let's be real, I no longer trust myself. Nothing. At this point, I'm convinced I have a ghost or a glitch in the matrix. I finally gave up and resigned myself to being late for work. But as I was grabbing my jacket, I felt something in the pocket. Yep. My keys. The same keys I knew I put on the counter. The same ones I remembered hearing land. The same ones that apparently decided to teleport into my jacket pocket. But here's the thing, I didn't put them there. Or at least, I have zero recollection of doing it. No memory of picking them up, no moment of, oh, I should put these away. My brain just erased that part. So now I'm wondering, if my brain can completely erase something I did 30 seconds prior, what else is it deleting? How many little actions, choices, and details have just vanished into the void? At this point, I feel like I need a body cam just to prove to myself that I exist. Has anyone else ever lost something, remembered exactly where it was, only to find it somewhere else with absolutely no idea how it got there? Oh man, welcome to the absolute nightmare of prospective memory failure. Your brain isn't just deleting stuff, it's playing tricks on you. Here's the deal, when we do routine tasks like putting down keys, our brains go into autopilot. If something slightly interrupts that routine, our memory gets scrambled. Your brain assumed you put your keys on the counter because that's your normal pattern. But the second you did something different, putting them in your pocket, your brain didn't bother recording it properly. It just filled in the gap with the most logical answer. This is also why you walk into a room and immediately forget why you're there. Your brain is terrible at keeping track of where it left things when you're not paying attention. So yeah, you're not crazy, just running on a broken operating system like the rest of us. Alright, here we are. The grand finale of me realizing my brain is a habitual liar. And this time, it wasn't just a misplaced hoodie, or a phantom apology, or keys that teleported into my jacket. This time, my brain rewrote an entire conversation in real time. So, a couple of days ago, I was talking with my coworker Jake about a project we were working on. I remember this conversation clearly. We were standing by the break room, I asked him to send me a file, and he said, yeah, I'll send it over after lunch. Fast forward to later that day, no file. I check my email. Nothing. So I message him. Hey, did you get a chance to send that file? His response? You never asked me for it. Excuse me, what? I remember asking him. I remember his exact words. I remember where we were standing, what he was wearing, the sound of the damn microwave beeping in the background. So naturally, I double down. Dude, we literally talked about it by the break room. Jake swears up and down that it never happened. He even checked his messages to see if I had mentioned it there. Nothing. At this point, I start spiraling. Did I think about asking him but never actually say it out loud? Did my brain just fill in the gaps and convince me the conversation actually happened? And then I remembered something even worse. This wasn't the first time this had happened. How many times in my life have I been 100% convinced I said or did something, but it never actually happened? How many arguments have I had where I was sure someone said something a certain way, only for them to insist they didn't? And the worst part? I have no way of knowing which memories are real and which ones are just brain-generated fanfiction. So now, I'm stuck in this terrifying realization. My memories aren't a reliable record of reality. They're just a story my brain tells me. And sometimes, That story is absolute garbage. I need a reboot. Or a software patch. Or just someone to confirm that I'm not the only one living in a homemade alternate reality. Please, someone tell me their brain has done this to them too.